The Secretary of Government forwarded it to the Attorney General of the Federation. And the Attorney General just threw away the reporting to the trash can, stating that there were no sufficient evidence to prosecute or pay compensation to anybody by the Nigerian police and some of the security. We emphasize the police too much. We often forget the army also engages in extrajudicial killing. And that the state security service even engage more in extrajudicial killing. And they engage more in abuses of fundamental human rights. So, what the Lagos state government have done is simply in sync with what the Nigerian allies have always done. When it comes to a report that it does not speak their voice, that is not sympathetic to them, or that they don't like to see implemented. Because when some of these reports of the panels are implemented, the conditions in the country, whether in the police, in the army, in the DSS, or generally in their life, in the welfare of the people, will improve. And certain persons are profiting from the mischief and the lack of, the order that we do have in this society, that they will not want to see the society run in a very, very smooth manner. More importantly, too, and we must take note of this, that the complaint against the police, the DSS, and the other security agencies didn't start in the year 2020. It has always been there, and it reached its pinnacle in year 2017, in which there were also demonstrations. And after that demonstration, some other reports were also written. If the government didn't want a reoccurrence of what happened in the year 2020, why did it not take steps to listen to the youth in 2017 and implement some of the recommendations that were made to her by the National Human Rights Commission, an agency of the federal government itself? Furthermore, you and I are aware that there have been so many orders, plethora of orders from Magistrate Court, High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, against the security people, against the executive arm of government. Which of those orders have they ever obeyed? It would appear to me that what the security people are doing is either that they are doing it on instruction from the people in government, from our allies, or they are condoning it, or they profit from it. If not, I don't think there should be any reason whatsoever not to implement some of these reports that I have started. Look at the Lagos State NSAS report, for example. Good. What were the complaints against it? They said the word massacre was used. It wasn't the youth that came up with the word massacre. It came to commentators on the social media, and also from the Nigerian press. The children merely said, look, we are sitting down, demonstrating with the national flag in our hands, and they are shooting at us. And the press interpreted that, and social media commentators said that amounts to a massacre. And let's even say that 9 people or 7 people didn't die in Lekki or anywhere for that matter during the NSAS protest. The death of one single person, the death of another man's son, the death of another man's daughter shouldn't be a thing of concern for all of us. Are there no provisions in the Constitution that nobody's life should be taken extrajudicially without an order from a court of competent jurisdiction? When you as a politician also go and hide your own children in safe havens, in Ivy League universities and all that, and you are shooting, maiming, and killing other people's children, is there any moral justification or legal justification for it? The answer is no. So the death of just one single person in Lekki is enough to give concern to government. It's enough to give concern to anybody who has ever reared children. It's enough to give concern to anybody who cherishes the value of human life. So when we reduce the whole thing to just only one person died, so that is no cause for alarm. That is what they are saying. Doesn't make sense for me, for people who are in these high and very esteemed offices, as governors, as ministers, as senators, and what have you. The life of one single person, when it is unjustly lost or unjustly denied, diminishes all of us as a citizen. Because we must realize that the right to demonstrate is enshrined in the Constitution. The right to protest the right to assemble. So why will you deny people the right to assemble, the right to protest, which is a constitutional right? Because under a democracy, is either you take to self-help, which the law frowns at, when you don't like any government policies, or you demonstrate to make your anger, your protest, or your disagreement known, or you go to the National Assembly and pass law to ameliorate whatever mischief or whatever bad governance or policies that you disagree with through your legislator.
Right. All right, so Mr. Kolawole.
Demonstration is a legitimate right, it's a legitimate exercise. And nobody ought to be killed for whether it is one person or two persons.
Right. In case you just joined the conversation on 99.3 Nigeria Info, we're on with Tunde Kolawole, legal practitioner, and we're looking at the NSAS panel report together with the Lekki tollgate shooting and the white paper, which the governor released yesterday and has triggered the conversation offline and online. We'd love to get you up on WhatsApp 0809 597 5805. Comment questions. Again, 0809 597 5805. One of the very more important conversations we're having this year. Mr. Kolawole, you know, the report comes out and coincides with the report by the Center for Democracy and Development, which had said in 10 years, over 13,000 people have been killed extrajudicially by security forces in this country in 10 years. That's an average of 1,300 every year. And it's those sort of numbers, you know, which triggered the protest that happened because too many people had died in the hands of policemen. Either they were shot in detention or they were shot on the street saying it was accidental discharge over 20 naira, 50 naira, and 100 naira. It all got to the top at this point. You think a strong message will have been put across by the Lagos state government? After all, they did pay over 400 million naira because of these rogue policemen in the actions they carried out that either had maimed people on armed civilians or had killed them. And you look at the recommendation of the report and you probably would have expected that the people who were responsible for this, you know, at least the state would take up the responsibility to prosecute them. But it appears that the part of the recommendation that deals with the prosecution, the state government has handed it over to be looked at by the federal government, the military, and you think they could have done something and rather, to pass across a stronger message than just wait for the federal government and the Nigerian army or NEC to handle this part, which a lot of people feel would have shown some real intention. Was there anything preventing them from going ahead with asking to prosecute these people who were responsible for this?
I don't think so. You will remember that Major Al-Mustafa
very true,
and a few people and all that have in the past been prosecuted for either breaching or violating people's rights. Al-Mustafa for what happened to the late Kudirat Abiola, the wife of Chief MK Abiola, who is acclaimed to be the winner of 1993 election. In fact, it is the present Vice President, Mr. Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was the Attorney General of Lagos at that period in time, that initiated the prosecution of Major Al-Mustafa and some other military men who were found to be culpable in the killing of Kudirat Abiola. So what has changed now? That is a very, very good precedent. Ordinarily, killing of people is a state crime. The people were not killed in Abuja. They were killed here in Lagos. And the Attorney General of Lagos State has all the wherewithal under the law to prosecute whoever takes people's life without following the due process of law. What normally happens is sometimes when the policemen, maybe in the course of their duty, kill people, the police will merely take them to the orderly room trial, debrief them, and after they have debriefed them, they will sack them, and after they have sacked them, they turn them over to the Director of State Prosecution to prosecute them. That is what happened. It is not the business of the federal government to do that. It's only if these things that happen within the Abuja municipal territory, which is can be described as a kind of federal government, which is under the federal government administration and all that. That is when you can be thinking about maybe handing over the policemen to either to the police authority in Abuja or elsewhere, or to the Nigerian army, or for the Attorney General of the Federation to prosecute. But in this instance, that is not what has happened. The people in Lagos State have the wherewithal under the law, or are empowered to be able to prosecute these people and seek a conviction in the court of law. But the truth of the matter is that, just like I said, and this might look like an exaggeration, from my practice of law over decades now, and also practice as a journalist in the past, I have noticed that it would appear to me that extrajudicial killing has become a kind of a state policy in Nigeria, in which it can be described as Bob Marley. You can describe it the way Bob Marley described it: kill them before they grow. Our allies, our politicians, people who are in high offices and all that, don't have the patience or the patience to really do diligent and thorough investigation, take people through the due process or through the gamut of trial in court, and let the court decide the people's fate. They are always looking for a very quick fix. But you see what happened in other jurisdictions. Look at the number of months it has taken the FBI to investigate Ospopi, and also investigate Abaki Ario has been indicted for obnobbing with Mr. Ospopi and all that. You will know it's taking them several years. And while these investigations were going on, they didn't arrest, they didn't embark, they didn't even let the people they were investigating know. They merely were collating voice messages, written correspondences, pictures, and what have you. And when they have got it to a convenient bed, where they think that they have gotten a sufficient evidence, they applied. And these people should be arrested and then prosecuted. Here it is the other way around. The police, the army, the DSS should first pick you up before they say, I'll tell the court that we are still investigating, and say, please don't give him bail. He may frustrate investigation and other. Whereas you are supposed to have completed your investigation before you make an arrest. In fact, I have no apology for saying this. Most of our security people don't have the patience to investigate, and they never bother to investigate any case. Immediately you are arrested, they just take you into their custody and begin to torture you until it gets to a dead point, and then you confess to crime you didn't commit, and force you to sign a written statement that ordinarily will not have.
So Mr. Kolawole,
sometimes they even force you. They use the thumb of your toe. Your toe to sign a statement they are themselves written for you.
Right. You think about the Herculean task before any criminal investigator into this matter, because the Lagos State government seems to have put a lot of attention on that part of the report in the white paper, saying that the chief pathologist, Professor Obafunwa, who, by the way, is one of the best around the continent, had said they had carried out autopsies on 3 out of 99 bodies. And maybe people have said if they had a different panel to look into the Lekki tollgate shooting, separate from the other panel, we could have done some more inquiries, because I do find it shocking, and people sort of have waved away, without thinking about 99 bodies picked up within 2 days of this incident. And we have no idea who these people are. We have no idea how they died, and it appears that may have just gone with the wind. I don't know what you have to say about that.
They haven't gone with the wind. You see, there is no crime that is committed in any place or anywhere in the world that the criminal would not have left some telltale signs that the investigators can follow, some clues that the investigator can follow. And then, thank God, there are all sorts of technologies now with which you can carry out investigation. Look at the DNA, look at the Google map, look at the satellite in space, and so many other facilities are now that. But just like I said, The people around here are not interested in any diligent investigation. They think it is a waste of time. Why don't you just kill them before they grow? But be that as it may, let me give you one graphic example.
Good.
Here in Mushin, during the NSAS protest, the children were also assembled in some places in Mushin and then protesting with flags in their hands, drummers, drumming, dances, and all that. And then the police went and opened fire on them. More than 20 people were either killed that night, maimed or injured one way or the other. In fact, the DPO and the policemen in respect of that station, soldiers had to come and evacuate them. Some of these people were also rushed to Idiaraba Lut at Idiaraba for treatment and what have you.
Wow.
You will not believe it. We try to form a consortium of lawyers to take on some of the cases of these children so as to be able to seek redress for them. And when we approach the families of some of the people affected and all that, they told us, look, we are not interested. Hardly do people win cases against government. And by the time we begin to prosecute this case now, the DSS will be coming to harass us, the police will be coming to harass us, the military will be coming to harass us. If we have lost our children, if our children have been maimed, if our children have been injured and all that, is it not better that we just take our grievances quietly than again begin to attract persecution, intimidation, and harassment from some of these security forces? That is the typical Nigerian example. We are leaving it to God because we think that we might not be able to win against the government. That is the reason why you find out that many people never bother to even go to Lekki, the NSAS panel, to testify. They are afraid of harassment, they are afraid of intimidations and what have you. And that is why the causes are just dumped in there. Furthermore, most of the people who could give evidence, including Professor Opafunwa, who is a pathologist, is he not a civil servant? The ambulance driver who carries people from the scene of injury to the hospital, is he not a civil servant? The nurses in the hospital, are they not civil servants and what have you? Most of them, including Professor Opafunwa, have very strong suspicion, are too afraid to reveal what really happened, the horrific thing that they saw, because they might be harassed, they might be intimidated, they might be sacked, they might be, their employers might terminate their employment or begin to frustrate them.
Right.
And that is why they're sweeping some of this under the carpet.
Right.
And take, for example, again, another good example. You and I remember that international organizations and the Amnesty International have said that more than 300 people lost their life when the chief of army staff clashed with the SAIS people. Has the Nigerian authority ever allow you media people or the Nigerian people to have the details of people who lost their lives in that encounter? Has any children of those people ever come out to say, look, I suspect that my children may have been killed when there was this clashing with the chief of army staff? They are afraid of intimidation.
Right.
They also think that it is better to leave some of these things to God. And more importantly, those who are supposed to be able to help you,
all right, Mr. Kolawole,
as a civil servant, and they will not help you. Also, let me tell you one thing. This is very important.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kolawole.
I'm going to gunshot wound.
I'm sorry. I'm going to.
You have an injury,
I'm going to have
you
to.
cannot take report from a private hospital.
Sorry, we're going to have to go on a quick break, unfortunately, because we have ads, bills to pay. We come back. Tunde Kolawole will continue the conversation with us.
My brother, I no fit find my shares, so it be like say all the money where I put for shares done lost.
That one na small matter now. You never hear of ISF? ISF na the Integrated Shares Finder, where integrated trust and investment in CARICOM. Na im be the ogbonge product wey go help you find your missing shares and dividends. With the shaking money, you go just register for ISF, and ISF will go get your shares and dividends back sharp.
gifting solution for you. Sure Gifts lets you give perfect branded gift cards that are redeemable at major retail brand stores nationwide. To get started, visit suregifts.com.ng or call 0809 118 9900.
Babe, you have to be careful. Are you sure you want to take the job? It's a long distance. And remember, you don't drive. What if you get hurt while boarding buses? Or if the chemicals spill on you on site? What if while washing the utensils, it slips and cuts you and the environment is waterlogged? What if you miss a step and break your leg? Babe, I think you...
Chill. No yawa. I'm covered.
No yawa.
Yeah. With AXA No Yawa, the personal accident insurance plan. I'm covered when life happens.
Introducing the AXA No Yawa, a personal accident insurance plan that provides life insurance cover, adequate care, financial support, and helps through recovery when personal accidents happen. So when life happens, keep going with the AXA No Yawa. Call 0700 AXA Mansert to sign up today. AXA, know you can.
Home, it's not a place, it's a feeling. And no matter where you find yourself, no one brings you close to home like Netflix.
I am Laburu, God's worst punishment in a person.
The politics of this world, the rich gets richer and the poor poorer.
Your mother was one of us, and that makes you one of us.
Do you want this life, or you would rather the life you were born into?
So, this season, expect more. Nollywood is home on Netflix. Download and sign up today on Netflix.com to enjoy the best Nollywood movies and series wherever you are.
When you hear the sound of credit alert, we can easy transfer, say we want to serve you better. No be play, we go turn your business around. We are Fidelity Bank. We are Fidelity Bank. Say you be the person we want relax. Save your money, your girl, we dey serve, we no dey tire. Say now your future be our concern. At Fidelity Bank. We are Fidelity Bank. Fidelity dey for you. We go dey for you. We are here for you. For you. We are the bank for you. We are the bank for you. If you do it all for you. For me, for you. We go stand by you. We go stand by you. Put your trust in us. For you. We are the bank for you. We are the bank.
Real fidelity. We keep our word.
Everything there for Black Friday.
Oh yes! And it's exclusive to Konga Yakata. Get extra 10% discount when you shop on Konga.com or Konga retail stores nationwide with your Access Bank or Verve cards. Before you buy anything this season, check prices on Konga.com. Konga, the e-commerce group you trust.
What is good for you? Eating well, getting enough sleep, spending time with friends, and saving money because you never pay charges to run your bank account. And making up to 25 free transfers to other banks from that same account every single month. And getting a free Visa debit card delivered to you free of charge and free of card maintenance fees. What is good for you? Kuda Microfinance Bank is good for you. Now accepting requests for the brand new 100% free Kuda Visa card. Download Kuda on your app store, open an account, and get free banking for life. And if you need to speak to someone at Kuda Microfinance Bank, just call 01-633-5832.
Special season.
Hey, some kind people for we country now, they face waiting they call sweet palava. What? Like a fusa, where they wonder whether if you park in new car for the left side or right side of a compound. Get no problem, come. Now whether to start in brand new generator with key or with remote. If it's a pre we don't they open and close a new fridge every 5 minutes. My people, waiting they call Sam, Now the Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza. Yeah, if you self want experience your own sweet palava, just dial *611# and recharge up to 500 naira every week to enter this Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza. Over 500,000 gifts will include plenty brand new cars, generators, TVs, fridges, and plenty other sweet prices. Full grand remain. Start to recharge now, make you fit win. Terms and conditions they shall.
Glow Joy Unlimited. If your phone could have a conversation with you, it might go like this.
Dear owner, I am tired of you switching from one app to another every time. Yes, you. You have one app for one need, one app to bank, another one for insurance, a different app for paying bills, and even another one for your pension. But wouldn't life be simpler if you could manage all of this in one app? So, if I were you, I'd simply get the Tangerine Africa app and have my bank, insurance, and pension in one place. But what do I know? I'm just a phone, and you're the boss.
So be the boss of your finances today. Get Tangerine Africa and do everything finance in one app. Available on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Tangerine Africa, creating a financially secure future.
As a business owner, there is no such thing as work-life balance. You are constantly working, even when you shouldn't. What you need is a team of champions ready to grow your business and take you to the next level. Introducing the Alliance for Better Work by Jobberman Nigeria, an exclusive network of employers looking to access the largest pool of trained quality candidates, innovative end-to-end recruitment, brand amplification, and exclusive rates, all tailored to your needs. Visit www.jobberman.com/employer/hire-better to join the Alliance. Let's hire better together.
The place in the brighten, make everybody they wonder. Waiting because all the shine. Lush hair, long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls when
people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
The saying usually is, you can't eat your cake and have it. But what if I told you that you could? Your next question would probably be, how? I'll tell you. You can own a house, a dream car, have your wedding in an exotic destination, and still be debt-free. And no, it is not too good to be true. All it requires is a plan. Actually, you require the plan, the AXA Ambition Plan.
Introducing the AXA Ambition Plan. A plan that enables you to experience the joy of saving and gratification that comes from gaining financial control. Save and achieve your financial goals and obligations conveniently while you enjoy free annual health check, loyalty bonus, competitive interest on your savings, and many more. Call 0700 AXA Mansard to sign up for the AXA Ambition Plan today. AXA, know you can.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
This is Hard Facts.
Welcome back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's 23 minutes to 6, and we have a big discussion this evening on the NSAS report and the Lekki tollgate shooting report together with the governor's white paper. It's over 24 hours after the governor announced the release of the white paper, and we're speaking with Tunde Kolawole, he's a legal practitioner, and we've been looking at just what we can make of this sort of bitter, sweet experience. Don't forget you can go and join the conversation online. This is being streamed live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. You can also join the conversation on WhatsApp. I see a number of messages. We'll take them as they come in. 0809 597 5805. That's on WhatsApp. 0809 597 5805. And then at some point we'll open the phone lines. Tunde Kolawole.
Yes, please.
Great. Sorry we had to go on this break.
Thank you.
Pay some bills. And, you know, why I say bittersweet, if you look at this report, the white paper, and how it's happened, I remember following very carefully this panel, the same with the Oputa, we call it the Oputa panel, even though it's more popularly known as the Oputa panel, but it was a rights violation during the military era. I remember that the Ogoni case, 10,000 petitions against a certain Major Okuntimo. because of the violations that happened then. And to imagine after people had come and talked about how they violated the women, raped people, beaten up people, killed Sarawiwa, and then his associates killed. None of those people were prosecuted. I mean, people were really distraught that we could go through over 2 years at a panel, and at the end of the day, we had nothing to show for it. And it is that same sort of lethargy people have carried into this one also too. To imagine that after all of this has happened, there is the possibility that the people who committed crimes and hurt people, killed people, policemen, the military, fired weapons and all of those sort of things, still may not get prosecuted. What does this do for the psyche of people who depend on the rule of law in being able to seek for justice? Because why I'm asking this is because many of the leaders of the protesters have raised this point about the governor of Lagos State calling for a walk of peace, but they keep pointing out that they haven't seen justice being served. How can they ask for a walk of peace? Help us understand this conundrum.
Well, a lot of things could be the consequences of the ditching of the NSAS report, especially the Lekki tollgate issues and what have you. Well, the ditching of the report could be an encouragement to self-help, because if people know that when they submit themselves to the rule of law, they are not likely to just get justice at the end of the day. So why should they bother themselves with subjecting themselves to the judicial system? Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're with you.
It could encourage self-help in future. Of course, too, it may lead to more impunity and audacity on the part of the security people. And say, I will waste you, I will kill you, and if I kill you, nothing will happen. So the possibility that we might be seeing more extrajudicial killing from most of the security forces in the country is very, very high. The third one is that when people are unjustly killed, you are dehumanizing the society. You are dehumanizing putting no value whatsoever on a human life. And any society that has no value for human life, that society cannot be cohesive. There will be no progress. Patriotism will also not be there. You will ask yourself, why would I want to die for my country when in my hours of need, when I am in trouble, or at the crucial moment I cannot get justice from my country? So the encouragement of patriotism and to be selfless and to be committed to the virality and sustenance of Nigeria as one indivisible entity, you are eroding it. Furthermore, people will most likely never believe their leaders anymore, because too many times the leaders will make promises, they will tell lies, they will make projections, they will make promises which at the end of the day, they are not likely to fulfill. They just want to use those things to buy time. And once they are bought the time and the noise has died down, then it becomes a business as usual. I'll give you one example. When the NSAS crisis first started in 2017, the Chief Justice of the Federation then, Honorable Justice Aghogho, had said even before the complaint before the protest against the police, he had been receiving numerous complaints from the members of the public of the atrocities that the security people were doing. So he gave a practice direction in which he said magistrates in different locations all over the country should be visiting the police stations and where people are being detained, the custodian places, on a monthly basis. And when they get in there, they should look at the possibility of those that can be granted bail, those that cannot get bail, make sure that they get there, they are taken to court on time, and make sure that the condition in which these people are being kept is humane. But as that practice election being obeyed, no. Go and see most of the places where armed robbery suspects, for example, are being kept, It is an open roof in which both the sun and the rain and all sorts of weather beats them 24/7. They are locked up in an open enclosure in which there is no roof over the places and subjected to all manners of torture like hanging, using pressing iron to burn people's skins, putting brooms into people's private parts, and what have you. And in the process, those who cannot withstand it, you remember the case of a mechanic in Port Harcourt who was going to deliver a vehicle he was asked to repair to somebody, and the police accosted him. Immediately they saw some amount of money on him. They took it, and then they tortured him to death by putting iron, pressing iron to burn all his legs and what have you until the man gave up. And all that. So, when some of these things happen, the former president, President Goodluck Jonathan, also came up with the Administration of Criminal Justice Law, in which he said when people are arrested, statements should not be taken from them until their lawyers are there to ensure that nobody is tortured before he volunteered any statement. That law also emphasized, repeated what is required, that people must be taken to court within 48 hours if there is a court within 24 hours if there is a court within jurisdiction, and if there is no court within jurisdiction, within 48 hours. That law also emphasized again that the police, the army, the EFCC, the PSS, and all the other security forces in the country who keep people in their custody must be filing returns if it is a federal offense with the Attorney General of the Federation on a monthly basis. And if the crime or if the suspect, if the crime is allegedly committed at the state level, the security people must be filing returns to the Attorney General of the state, of whatever state is in issue here. And then the law also says again that the magistrates in the respective places again must be visiting all those custodial centers to make sure that nobody is being tortured, nobody is kept in custody beyond 48 hours before they are prosecuted, and that nobody's statement is taken without the presence of their lawyer. That law has been made about 2018 or thereabout. Are we enforcing that law? If we have been enforcing that law or thereabout, the NSAS protest that happened in the year 2020 would not have happened. Because that law was supposed to remedy or take care of all these abuses that we are talking about. Because if your lawyer is there when your statement is being taken, then the possibility of torture is not there.
Absolutely.
If
you'll be granted bail almost immediately.
Visiting all the places they are supposed to visit, and if returns are being made by the security people and all that, you will find out that some of these abuses are not there. But the executive arm of government in particular, which is saddled with the responsibility of enforcing that law, both at the state level and the federal level, have merely turned a blind eye to that law. And that is why the abuses have continued. Since the President Inspector General of Police also came in there, he has had a very beautiful plan. He said CCTV cameras should be installed in most of the places where people are being kept. He also said that the investigation room and the custodian cells and what have you, there should be CCTV camera in some of those, in all those places, and what have you. But how much does CCTV camera cost, for God's sake? But we have never bothered to install those things.
In fact,
because simply put, we don't want to do things in the thorough, proper manner in which they ought to be done. In a civilized manner, so to say.
Mr. Kolawole, in fact, now that you even brought that up, you know, the Jos correctional facility which got attacked, you know, the first question correspondent put out to the Ministry of Interior people, they don't have CCTV there. They had no CCTV in Jos, and they have no CCTV in any of the correctional centers. And ask yourself the question, how are they going to carry out the investigation?
Exactly.
But Tunde Kolawole, how time flies when you have a great discussion. This is a fluid conversation we're having, and we'll continue to talk about this. But before I let you go, the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was in the country recently, and they asked the President, Buhari, the question about NSAS panel sittings and then the reports, and he had said he was waiting for the state governments to forward to him the reports, and afterwards they'll take it off from there. What of what use now that we have one of the states who say the Lagos state government, case in point, has forwarded the report rather, on the white paper, to recommendations to President Buhari. What would happen from here usually?
Well, let me be rhetorical in my answer. I have earlier on said that the National Human Rights Commission, which is an agency of the federal government, and in the past forwarded a report to the presidency of police abuses and all the extrajudicial killings, and recommended some policemen for prosecution. That report was turned to the Attorney General of the Federation. What did he do? He said there was no sufficient evidence, and then just threw the report into the trash can. So if the presidency had in the past done that, what do you expect that they would do this time around? Furthermore, look at the cavalier manner in which the president replied Mr. Blinken that came to Nigeria. He said when the state sends the report, they will see what they can do. So all the reports that have been sent to them in the past, what do they do with them? All the court orders that have been given by the different courts, has the presidency ever insisted that court orders should be obeyed? The answer is no. So with the Shais who had issues with the former chief of army staff and all that, what has the federal government done about it? Despite the fact that Amnesty International and so many other organizations around the world have established that killings took place in that encounter. Rather, the presidency has found a kind of way to frustrate the arrest of the chief of army staff and most of the security people who are indicted in some of those reports by making them ambassadors and giving them ambassadorial passports. Because if you are carrying an ambassadorial passport, you cannot be arrested. Anywhere you are considered to be an ambassador, you can be arrested. You are given protection. So the other issue is that look at the utterances of Mr. President in the past. It's either he will say be brutal with them, shoot at sight. Anybody who you see who is disobeying the law, we are going to clamp down ruthlessly on these people. And look at the genocidal campaign that is going on in the southeast, in which Igbo youths who are agitating for Biafra are being ruthlessly dealt with. So, my take is that the president has already parried that question. I don't see the presidency doing anything with regards to all the reports that will be coming from some of the states, even though they themselves initiated, because it was I think at the National Economic Council that it was recommended that a panel should be set up in all the different states, including Abuja, to look at the complaints of the youth and then the abuses from the police and what have you. It is the same panel they are now denying. Then look at the way and manner the Minister of Information, Alhaji Mohammed, has dismissed the report in its entirety as a fake news and what have you. He is speaking for the federal government. So we already know the direction in which these things are likely going to be taken.
We're going
in my words, like I said, extrajudicial killing appears to have become a state policy in Nigeria. How we are going to stop all the bloodthirsty politicians and bloodthirsty administrators to stop killing Nigerian children when their own children are kept in safe havens is what you and I should be looking at and trying to provide solutions to.
All right, we're going to have to leave it at that. And so many questions and answers we cannot find, but we'll keep rolling this over, keep our fingers crossed. See, the jury's out, and after this administration is done, we can come back and ask the questions whether exactly they did deliver on the wings of justice. Thank you very much, Tunde Kolawole.
Thanks for having me. It's always been a pleasure talking with you.
Absolutely. And we'll touch bases again on issues of national importance. You'll have a great week.
Thank you.
Excellent. And that's it on the HardFacts today. And think a lot about things which we've talked about today, about the thing that the thread that connects all the stories is the value of the human life, whether it's in Kano, whether it's in Lagos, We must begin to take human life more seriously, and every life is important, whether it's 99, 96 bodies. You don't have no idea who they are, or even the families can't even know who they are. I mean, we should take things more seriously and take our families, take our lives, and take one another more serious. Together, it's our responsibility to make this nation work. We're going to a quick break. At the top of the hour, we have the news. Please stay with us on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.